Just go with the flow. That almost sounds dangerous and reckless sometimes when we face life with that attitude of going with the flow. But sadly, life can be challenging. And you learn and you plan and you expect and you invest, and the things don't go exactly as you hoped or wished. You think you'll just feed the baby and then sit them down and they'll be quiet because they're fed and you can go do something else. But they either don't eat or don't sit or don't stay in that corner. And then you have to improvise on the spot, go with the flow. You do the training and you find a job and you put in your best and it doesn't quite go as planned. And you're standing there with that training and those expectations and everything that you had hoped and wished for, and it doesn't go as planned. And you have to assess that situation and go with the flow. You find that perfect somebody, or do you? Well, it's either one or the other. You found them and everything is great or almost great, but never as expected. Or maybe sometimes above expectation. Or you just wonder why your amazing self is not finding that person. Those expectations, those hopes and dreams that you had based on that handbook of life, that if you do this and act this way and stay this way, things will fall into place in a certain way in your mind. And suddenly in life, you find yourself embracing that statement more and more, consciously or unconsciously, going with the flow in the family, with your relationships, with the way people treat you, with employment, and just every other thing that your imagined handbook of life presented, that all the advice in the world gave you, and that the actual reality is presenting to you time after time, having to shift out of that expected into on the spot realities and decisions that fit the flow, that fit the circumstance of whatever you're facing. And that is what open minded attitudes towards life bring to us. Having to throw out that handbook of life that we imagined, that we inherited, that we spent so much time crafting, and often find ourselves up against walls that do not match those expectations, those institutions, those realizations that everything that we hoped for and worked for and expected is not exactly as wished. But then sometimes better, or sometimes worse, or sometimes harder. But such is the reality of life. To go with the flow, because that is actually what living means. Meeting somebody and relating with them, finding obstacles and resolving them, facing circumstances and dealing with them in a way that no handbook or no hopes or no expectations could have designed and programmed you to expect. So sometimes the best attitude is to embrace what you're facing, what is in front of you, without getting stuck on those inherited handbooks, those crafted handbooks, those expectations and hopes and dreams of those imagined realities in our minds versus everything that we're staring in the face, and make those on the spot decisions and face life head on and create our own versions of a reality that are authentic and matching every circumstance that we come up against. So go with the flow.